So, brother, it's been years. What is it, 11 years now that Vesta's been gone or something like that?
Yes.
And man, every now and then, I'll go out and about in conversation. People talk about music or whatever. We can't talk about our career without her name coming up. So I'll be like, at any point, I'm like, yeah, I started off with this lady named Vesta Williams. It never fails. Somebody's like, oh my God, I miss her so much. And I'm like, damn. People loved her in spite of the fact that she never really got the fame that she should have gotten, and she left us too soon. She made such an impact that I wanted to just talk about it, man. And fortunately, I was in communication with her when they contacted her to do the unsung thing.
Right.
And I heard the conversation. Fast forward, when I saw the episode air, I'm like, this is not what she wanted. This is not what she wanted. Also,
I just want to stop you there. When I saw it, I was upset that I wasn't involved. I felt very left out, but that's a whole nother story we can get into later. You
should have felt that way, especially because of things that I know of that she shared with me. We were there for her, when a lot of people weren't, and that came from her mouth.
And, and I know I'm probably jumping the gun, but, 3 days before she passed, she called me and she said, Pot Fudge, I got something to tell you on Sunday. You won't believe it. But she was telling me about the unsung thing, but she was so excited, people remembered her and wanted to showcase her gifts,
Yeah.
And as you know, again, I don't know what we're talking about, but I just want to say that, she was, she had a lot of struggles, but because her being a Christian, she really relied on her faith, relied on that strength, even when she was going through.
Absolutely.
And she confided in me, you remember that time we were in DC. Oh my God.
Here we go. Some good stories. I love it.
And you know how she would do her little stand up just to break the ice, and I remember one night, can I say the name?
Sure. Say whatever you want.
We can probably edit that out. But I remember Karen White was in the house. And she came out and she said, "Hey, that Karen White, bitch ain't got no next time. I'm not your superwoman." And we were like, because Karen was, she was sitting on the front.
She was her and the band. Her whole. I remember that.
I was like, done.
Yeah, was it Blues Alley or something like that? Whatever the big was.
But what she shared with me, the reason why she would come out on the stage and she was like, "Oh, she'd take a picture now because I look like a damn possum after the first song." She would make fun of herself.
Yeah.
Just to take away from her the weight problem she was having and her insecurities of who she was. She had a voice, but it was a real struggle for her being the big girl, with a beautiful voice.
It was.
And then with the people that were supporting her, not really giving her the proper tools she needed, but just your ass is fat, stop eating on, that wasn't what she needed. And so she was saying that when she would come out and do, the jokes about herself and other people, it was really just to take, she didn't mean any harm toward anyone, but it was just to expose herself so she could really shine and be who she was on the stage.
Yeah, I felt like also to add to that, I felt like that was her way of saying, I'm going to take a stab at me before you get to diffuse you making fun of me. I'm going to make fun of me first.
Right.
And then the other thing was
along with that, we're gonna take a few people with me.
And we're gonna take a few people with me. Right. And then again too, the comedy thing was also to let people know I can sing my butt off. And you guys, you don't want to push me as a singer because you want me to be slim and cute. But I got other talents too. But I love that we have so much history, man. And I love that you and I started at the same time. Like we have people like Craig T. Cooper, who was close to her before we came into the picture, Kipper Jones, the Organ Brothers, people like that. But you and I started right about the same time.
And it's something that I think I shared with you. I was singing at Tony Roma's in Inglewood.
Mm-hmm.
This old lady walked up, she said, "Baby, I love your voice. My baby can sing. She got an album coming out and blah, blah, blah." And she said, "Yeah, you're going to hear about her. I ain't going to tell you, you're going to hear about her." Well, long story short, 2 weeks later, I get an audition to sing for Vesta.
Mm-hmm.
And and I was at a point where I was struggling, being in the church and people coming from the church talking about, "You up in there singing at Tony Roma's and they serving liquor." I'm thinking, well, you up in there eating ribs and they serving liquor? So anyway, so long story short, that was, just confirmation that not only did I have a voice, but I had a gift. And he placed me in the family with Vesta because she was not just a voice, she was a gifted artist. And as you know, she could laugh, she loved hard, she laughed even harder.
Yeah, I love that you're saying all this stuff because I've already recorded my whole spiel about kind of what my relationship was like, and you're chiming right in with a lot of things that I've already said. So I'm loving that. You know, we see and saw the same thing. Our experiences, like I said, we started that tour right about the same time. No, was that your very first tour?
My very first.
Okay, so we had that same experience too. How was it when you first met Vesta?
Wow, when I met Vesta, it was open arms. It was open arms. It was this big personality. You know, I remember we were at the studio on West Boulevard. You know, when I walked in there, she just embraced. She had the spirit of who she wanted around her vocally. She knew what she needed. So it was never really an audition. She knew right off. So it was one of those things when we were brought together, it was ordained. What people don't realize about Vesta, and I know you do, Vesta was not just an R&B singer. She could scat. She knew she had jazz chops up the yin yang. I mean, and I think about that commercial she did with Aejaye.
The McDonald's commercial. About life, about music. What are some lessons you learned from Vesta?
Well, one of the things as an entertainer, I learned that no matter what the flaw is, people will respect the fact that you're keeping it real.
What was her favorite saying? Ain't no shame in my game.
No shame in my game.
Yeah.
If I can't buy, I die. If I can't grow, I'll sow. I remember some funny nights, baby. We would wear the Waffle Houses out. One time we were, Buzzman, turn around. I saw a Waffle House, and we making a U-turn on the freeway to get to a Waffle House. And and the thing was, she would order all this food, but she never ate it all.
No,
it was just something that was really, you know,
comfort.
It's comfort. But again, I'm sorry, going back to the thing. One of the things she did, even in her flaws, I remember. I know I'm jumping the gun, man, but these things just stick out in my heart.
I love it. Let it flow.
I remember when we were almost at the end of the tour, and by the time we got back to the Greek, she had picked up a few pounds. And we were on the stage just working that opening number. We were working, and she ain't coming out. And we working. Finally, she come out, and her bustier pop, and her titty pops out.
Woo! Out.
And she just kept on going. Came back. She said, "My titty wanted to see who was out in the house before I got out." You know,
and calmly fixed it.
Yeah, anybody else would be like, "Oh no, I'm not going to go out there." She came out. She was able to take that and soar with it. And for us, you know, as being that support artist, we saw just the pureness of a gift and a genius that knew how to take her flaws and
not let it stop her.
Not let her stop her. Not let it stop her, and be able to give and use her gift. And to leave it all there.
She sure did, bro. That's good, brother. That's good. Of course, Vesta, we love her. She was wonderful, but she was not a saint. She was by no means a saint. I want you to talk about what were some things that, in all honesty, that you probably said to yourself, that wasn't cool. That was one thing that I felt she needed to work on or whatever. And then I want you to tell me some of the things about her that you thought, man, I admire that so much about her. So tell me some of the things that made her not a saint and things that kind of made her damn near a saint.
Wow, that's a good one. You know, when I look back, even on the road when we were there, I would take notes. I think one of the things that I didn't, even though I didn't understand where the jokes were coming from or where the jabs were coming from to the other artists, but sometimes I would get offended, and especially, you know, when she called somebody.
Oh, look, man, don't get me started, bro. Don't get me started.
When she called this specific artist a name, I felt so bad. I was like, because Vesta said that she knew that she was going to wipe her ass up at the stage. She was going to kill her. And she looked at like oh my God, what did she say? I don't want to say it because I have to say the name, but it was, I felt like, wow, that was really bad. That she,
was it? It was. edit it out, but I'm gonna tell you why I remember that so well. So let me. Adam, I remember it so well. So let me tell you why. Do you know why she was like that towards her?
I really didn't.
Okay, so here's what happened, man. We were doing Philadelphia. It was Philadelphia Civic Center. I remember it like it was yesterday. And so it was Vesta, that person that you're talking about. I think it was Atlantic Star and Peebo Bryson or something like that. It was yeah, right. So they had it lined up in the order that they wanted it, and they told Vesta the order they was going to do it. So it's going to be that artist, then Vesta, then Atlantic Star, then Peebo Bryson, right? And so we get there, me and Vesta was hanging out at her room. So she gets a phone call. You just start seeing that Vesta face. Oh, really? Is that right? I'm like, uh-oh, somebody making her mad, right? She said, okay. Tell her don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. That's fine, whatever, that's fine. She hangs up the phone. She's like, this gonna tell the promoters she refuses to go on before me. She's a bigger artist, she got bigger hits, and she ain't going on before me. She said, that's okay. I told her, we'll open it up. She said, we gonna set that stage on fire. I remember it like yesterday. And she literally pulled us in, told us, I want us to burn that stage up like we never burned it. And then she said the things that you said. And you're right, that person was scared to come out and greet her. And do you remember this? We blazed that night because Vesta had us on fire. We blazed that night. And then when we came off stage, they were going crazy. And then that artist came on and the crowd kept saying, Vesta. Yes. I felt so bad because she came out. She was like, all right, y'all ready to have some fun? Vesta. And she said, okay, she did her thing. All right, give it up for Vesta. Okay, she did her thing. Now we're going to move on, okay? Vesta!
I remember that, dude. It was like,
oh God, bro. It's so many memories, bro. It's so many memories. But to go your answer, there were times she would go hard. Sometimes she would do things, and I'll agree with you. There were times I'm like, yo, that was a little petty. Like it's not even so much that I'm defending them. It's just not making you look so professional right now. Yeah, I agree.
Because again, with all the other things that were going on backstage and in her camp, she took that and she went. It was like fuel for her to go out each night and deliver. But it came from a place. Sometimes it came from a mean place,
bitterness.
A bitterness. Even though she was singing, sometimes when she was at that really bitter state, it came off bitter.
And we were band members, so I'm sure the audience was even more uncomfortable because you almost felt weird about enjoying it because it's like, wait, am I in the middle of something right here? I want to enjoy your singing, but it seems like you dang near cursing somebody out with your vocals right now.
Another thing that made me uneasy, and I know that was getting her when she would walk out and want people to applaud.
Yeah.
Before that was like,
yeah, earn that.
I saw that decline, but then again, I knew of the other things that were going on behind the scenes.
Me too.
I just wanted to stay in my lane and just pray.
I get you, brother. She would ask me about those things sometimes.
Yeah.
So the more years went by and you and I continued to communicate, it amazes me how much we both noticed the same things. We're two different personalities, so we deal with things differently, but we pick up on all the same things.
And what I loved about her, just our relationship with each other, like my relationship with her, your relationship, she could be naked with us and she knew who to come to for the truth.
Absolutely. And it was very few of us.
Yeah, but those were the kind of conversations that I had when she came to me with some truths, the things that were very difficult.
Very personal,
very difficult. And I cherish that, but I knew what my relationship with her is.
Amen. I want to talk about the legacy of her, but also it seems like everyone that came from her camp, and I would say all the time, I'm like, I don't think we could have gotten a better first experience. I think she prepared us for everything. And I talked about how we were so young and we were so hungry and wanting to just do it. We didn't realize that some of the stuff she was telling us to do, the average person would have been like, we can't do all that at the same time. She raised those legs. Y'all got to pump harder. And I want your vibratos to match. Matter of fact, take the vibratos out and kick. We were like, like, what?
but I'm gonna tell you what was so hard, but it was so true, and I really appreciate it now. She would, who that flat as a damn pancake? She would call your ass out
in a minute. Oh, because she wanted
Fix it.
because she had sang all of her parts herself. She's like, That was one of the things that we admired about her so much. She knew her stuff. When I think about yourself, LaSalle Gabriel, Alex Al, you know what I'm saying? Anthony Johnson, he's in Japan, but he's still gigging. I saw a picture of him the other night, man. You know, tuxedo down with his piano and things. I'm like, still doing. Jay doing his thing. Of course, Jay's doing his thing. Got his own band. My man Juan, Juan ended up being internationally known, man. He was an internationally known bass player, man. God rest his soul.
Humble, thank you.
Oh, I told that story. Say it again. I told that story. Say it again. Phone book. Thank goodness for you. You missed the whole cattle call thing. It was a blessing the way that you came, because Tim Townsend was already in place when I came to the picture, but it was a whole cattle call. I mean, a cattle call of everybody, keyboard players, guitar players, this and the other. And Vesta picked me to be the second vocalist. And we were like, she's like, we got to get a third vocalist. And it really wasn't anybody else that was, triggering him. So now I know that you met her grandmother and that all lined up. But then when you came, you were the third one. It was Tim, then me. And when you came, which was only like a day or two later, it wasn't like it was weeks later, right? So then when you came, it was like, oh, dope. And it was perfect because you came with this whole voice like this. He was like, done. Everybody was like, unanimous decision. Done. Let's talk about Vesta Williams' choice of attire for her backup singers.
Well, let me just say this. As my kids got a little older and they were going through a book, my oldest daughter said, were you a stripper? I'm like, what? So that is her. That's her screensaver on her phone.
It's my daddy.
Yeah, and they say, "Who is that?" That's my daddy.
That's my daddy when he was stripping.
Oh my God. But I mean, wow, that was an experience. And
it was an experience.
Lord knows it won't happen.
Oh no, it definitely will be happening today.
That's
for real.
We need to get together.
Mm-hmm.
Find some outfits just like that.
No, we don't.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do how you feel. That's what we're gonna do.
And we'll see about how we feel about 2 measures in.
Boy, I mean,
you do know that I will be inserting clips of that video in here. You do know that. You do know that. You doing your
get my ab shot. That
got it. We had to take advantage of your ab shots, bro. The hot fudge. I was also talking about the fact that we kind of created our own entity. People love Vesta, and people love Vesta's backup singer / dancers. And Patti LaBelle had hers too.
But they weren't us.
They were not us.
See, now, and the thing was, we came out on that stage, we set the tone, and she would come
before
out,
Vesta even came out.
She came out. And so she came out, and boy, I never forget, she should do that back bend all the way back. Oh my God.
The back bend all the way back, and then kick her leg all the way up.
Her leg all the way up. I was like, but she was a gymnast. I didn't know that until
I didn't know that either. Same.
She would do that. And so here we are up there sweating and glistening and singing, and I burned my hair follicles out with all that stuff.
You know what? I think that was another reason that it never crossed our mind to go, is this realistic for us to be dancing this hard, singing these harmonies, being tight? Because she did it. Yes. You know what I'm saying? And she was heavy at the time. So she'd be doing the running man and dancing hard and singing lead. So we were like, we ain't got nothing to say. But it was the best preparation for our career, in my opinion, that we could have ever had, man. She had her vision. She had a vision for us. And like I said, we had our own entity. Like you said, Patti LaBelle's cats, they were dope too. They could sing their faces off, but they weren't dancing like we were.
They weren't.
They weren't dancing like we were. Do you remember the time that we were on the show with Casey and JoJo, and they thought that our vocals were pre-recorded?
Yep. Yes, I do.
I want to shift things a little bit because I want to keep this real. The whole purpose for doing this is to keep it real. I want to talk about Vesta, Phyllis Hyman, a lot of other people who were very strong women, would speak their mind, and ultimately we know that they were blackballed. Okay. Mm-hmm. This is something that she expressed to me. It was kind of clear to see, or even for people who don't believe that, that's not even an issue. The point is, it got to where she wasn't working as often and things started to decline for her. She was very prideful. Mm-hmm. So she's going to pick and choose who to go to about what, and she's going to try to make it happen until its last resort. And at that time, you know, I'd gone on, I was touring with Janet and doing all kind of other stuff, but Vesta and I kept in touch always, no matter what I was doing. She would never really come out and tell me, but whenever I would come in town, I would go to visit her, and I started to see things slowly changing. Something's not right. Vesta's not the Vesta I remember.
But I just want to go back a little further to express something I'm sure you may know. But as far as having the deck set against her, even in the very early stages of her career, mm-hmm. you know, mm-hmm. and she does it for A&M Records, and they set her up for failure because Absolutely. They only printed 250,000 copies
out the gate. They weren't. It had it not been for Aejaye Jackson,
that was it. So they wanted to make sure that it did not, you know, succeed. And then it had it not been for Aejaye, and also Brother Freddie Jackson putting his career on the line for her. Yeah. Because Catherine didn't want Vesta to tour. Yeah. So he invited her to do that. And so when I look at, you know, just the longevity of her career, there's always been, you know, she's had to fight.
Had to fight.
She had to fight. Okay. You know, but through the whole, she's been fighting.
She's been fighting. And that's why we're doing this, because people love her 11 years after she's gone, in spite of her whole career having somebody trying to hold her down and hold her back. And God knows who she could have been and how far she could have gone had that not been the case. But You're right, man, from the gate. And I talked about it too, that she didn't get support from her label. And it was Aejaye taking money from the limousine company saying, here, right, we're going to make this happen. And I'm glad you mentioned the thing about Freddie Jackson putting his career online, because I forgot to add that part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in fact, he got flack from that. And I don't know if they dropped him, but they stopped showing him the love because of his, you know, respect and wanting to give her an opportunity.
Isn't that amazing? I talk about all the time how life in general, but definitely in this particular industry, is so sad how we as adults use our power like the kids in the playground. It's like, we don't want to play with them, and you better not play with them either. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you play with them, then we're going to cancel you. You know, it's like, how sad is that?
Yeah.
But that's what happened. So as she started to decline, Adam, I mean, I would always check on her whenever I would come in. We would laugh. But I started to see differences and changes in her. And then at the end, it got to the point where she actually started to open up, because I forced her. I started talking to her like she used to talk to us when we were younger. You better tell me what's going on, right? Yeah. And she started to tell me, you know, it's rough. And she went, I'm not going to go into details, but she started to go into details of the things she was dealing with. And I'm like, well, let me know what you need. Boom. I help her out. And I'm like, you know, very innocently, because we were around all this time. So very innocent. I'm like, hey, so what about, you know, did you reach out to this person? I did. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, what happened? They said they'll call me back. I haven't heard from them since. And they don't answer my phone calls now. Are you serious? Well, what about such and such? Saying, and you could see as she's talking to me, the hurt, not even just the disappointment that they didn't come through, but it's like, I literally thought they were my friends. And, you know, Vesta and Ollie Wilson were much alike. You know, they would just give to they would do anything for anybody. Right. I remember sitting and talking to her, and at this point, it was pretty bad. And she said, baby, you are one of the only people that check on me regularly, that come through for me. She said, and I'm gonna pay you back. I'm like, did anybody tripping? You know, so she said, no, I'm gonna pay you back. I said, no, I'm actually paying you back. She said, do you know the only people that's really been helping me without sweating me is you and Adam? I was like, word? Note taken. So I lost a lot of respect for a whole bunch of people, you know, because she revealed some things. And one person in particular, I said, what about this person? She said, don't even mention his name to me ever again in your life. A lot of people, ex-management. So when the Unsung episode came up, you know, she was telling me people that she's going to put in. She said, Bow-Legged Lou's going to do it. Howard Hewitt's going to do it. And she said, I'll tell you who I don't want to be in there. And they better not even ask me. I said, who? She said one name that was a male and another person that was a female figure. And I was like, really? You don't want him in? She said, absolutely not. And she told me why.
I already know who they are.
I know you know who they are. And when I did the first interview, it was great. We had a good time. I talked to the people. We had fun. And then when she passed away, they reached back out to me. And they were like, listen, we're still wrapping this up. This is so unfortunate. We want to know if you can come in and do a second interview. I was like, I can't do it, bro. I cannot do it, man. They was like, please, like Vesta, she said she really wants you to do it. She emphasized you so much. I really want you to be the one that comes back. I turned him down. They finally asked me, I said, okay. They said, we promise we won't make it hard. I was like, you don't have to. It's already hard. So if you ever look at it again, you'll see I had one outfit and the latter part, I had another outfit. And my eyes looked like I'd been fighting Mike Tyson. And so I did those few little questions and stuff at the end. And I'm like, okay, cool. When that thing aired, some type of way, those two people maneuvered their way in there. They were like on there more than damn near anybody else. I'm like, look at them like, really? So that kind of teed me off, man. And it helps me to talk to people like you and Jake because we can bring back good memories and laugh and stuff, man. But it absolutely bothers me that we know who she was, you know, as an artist, we know who she was as a person. And it's just sad, man, because she's gone too soon. And I feel like the world didn't get a chance to know the depths of her talent or as a person, you know?
Well, you know, that's so profound that you say that. And even when you speak about, you know, how we've been blessed to stay working in the business and still stay relevant and do what we do. But at the end of the day, how many people don't know you? How many people don't know me?
Absolutely.
They don't know, you know, my journey. They don't know, you know, what I've learned from Vesta, what I learned from watching Marilyn McCoo, two extremely different artists.
Yeah.
But they feel so much in me as an artist, how to work a stage, how to be fearless. I'm telling you, we out there butt naked, pretty much.
Super exposed.
Letting your fears down and doing what you do, and not allowing anybody to you know, put a top on you or to define you as an artist.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what the beauty of working with her and having the conversations, the good conversations, the bad conversations with her. You know, I still hold those very dear to me because, you know, we're all human, we're all, you know, immortal, and you know, and then when we think about, you know, our journey as brothers in this business, sisters, you know, and even in your case, I mean, you know, when you think about, you know, the tours and, you know, and the big sessions, all those days are gone. The people that we worked with that were doing these big numbers and big tours, they gone to heaven. You know, Michael, me, and you know, now we're like the last of the Mohicans. We know how to run that ship. Yeah. But right now, that ship isn't sailing. So we're able to, you know, sit back and continue to love what we do and pour into other young
That's what it's about. Looking back now, man, it's amazing to think about all of our experiences and understanding God's orchestration. Every single thing we went through was for a purpose. It was all part of his orchestration to help us be able to manage and navigate who we are now, because he saw the end from the beginning, you know?
One thing about Vesta, there was a lot of things going on in her world that she didn't think I knew. And she tried to protect me from knowing these things, but she knew I knew. You know, and I'm talking about, you know, just the wild parties. On Norwood and Norwood is gonna, you know, but look how he has just gone on to just do wonderful things. But again, we're all a part of that journey.
We're all a part of it. I so agree with you, man. And you know what's funny is that the majority of us, think about it. We watch Vesta. See, sometimes things, I think we take in things subconsciously. We saw Vesta with the system going against her.
Yes.
Right? And whether it's conscious or subconsciously, look at us all. Each one of us have taken control of our own careers. You book your own shows. I got my own practice. I pick my students that I want. I mean, I was blessed to teach on The Voice and did TV shows and tour, and we've done all these tours. But at the same time, if they come up more, cool. I'm thankful for it. I love this type of stuff. But if that doesn't happen, God has still provided us ways to do it. And I don't know if it was a subconscious thing that we go, we can't trust the system always. We got to pray that God gives us our own system. I mean, all of us, man. LaSalle Gabriel went on to do his thing. Alex Al is doing his thing. Anthony Johnson went on to do his thing. Jay put his own band together.
How about Freddie Fox?
Freddie Fox, man, of course. Craig T. Cooper. Craig T. Cooper was like one of the first ones to take it. He's been doing his whole thing forever. But what a blessing, man. What a blessing. And I feel like Vesta is living through us. I can't tell you how many people inbox me. I'm so glad you're doing this. I can't wait. I love her. I've been a fan of hers since this and the other. I want us to be voices for her, so people who don't know and people who knew but didn't know the depths. There was a young lady that chimed in with me on my live the other day. She said, I'm 21 years old. I really don't know much about her.
Yeah.
You saw that? I said, beautiful. Good. Go get your friends that's 20 and 16 and 17 and 25, because I want them to know, unlike when we were coming up and we took pride in paying homage, we took pride. Like you just talked about Marilyn McCool and Vesta and all this. That's what we were about. Every time we did something, we was like, man, I came from the school of Ollie Wilson. Vesta, Vesta, she said, I went to the school of Shaka Khan. I graduated though. I graduated, but I went to the school.
Right. Well, you think, when you think about, another thing with Vivi, what people don't realize is just her numerous background credits that she was able to support all those years of different artists.
Yep.
So she was a voice. She was a voice that, contributed to major productions and, Phil Perry. I mean, they just
yes. Hopefully I'm gonna get the chance to talk to Byron Miller, bass player. He was talking about how she used to sing with the Crusaders when he was playing with the Crusaders. Right. And I did that movie soundtrack with her, Posse. She sang on Posse. He called me into that.
But let me tell you what's so funny. Now, even though I work with Vesta, I also found out that Ron Townsend from the Fifth Dimension brought her and Freddie Poole, and they were Wild Honey. And they were signed together. So, and me and Freddie worked in my band for about 12 years.
Had no idea.
And so at Freddie's daughter's wedding, me and Vesta sang at the wedding. She was there, and we danced. We had just
a ball.
I had a ball. It goes on and on, but then to find that connection with Vesta through Ron, who brought her and them out here from Ohio, that was
all God's orchestration again, man. Well, I just want to say I appreciate you, man. I didn't mean to hold you so long, but I should have known we was gonna have some good ones, man. So we can be here for 2 days. Give people any information they need to know about Adam Aejaye Jackson.
You can follow me. I'm at AEJAYE.com. Adam Aejaye Jackson. And that's also on Instagram. I still do Facebook, so
Me too.
But I'm not really heavy on the social media. That's something that I would like to try to, do better at this year. I'm working on a couple of things with some branding for other companies. So that's going to allow me to really tap in this year. But again, I'm just, celebrating, still loving what I do. Full Spectrum Music is my company, and we specialize in special events. It could be a gala, a bar mitzvah, wedding. I do destination celebrations. I'm working on one now for Bermuda, and I've always wanted to go to Bermuda, so I'm looking forward to going over there in November. So again, as a session singer, I'm still available, even though auto-tune has taken a lot of our jobs. That's okay, but if you want somebody to give you some real feeling, to put some stank on it, we are still here as session singers. So, and that's it, brother. But I'm just so honored to just still be doing what I'm doing. And I'm going to share this. I wouldn't, but I'm grateful. This will be my 47th year as a professional voice artist.
Beautiful.
I got my first job when I was 13.
Get over there.
Romeo is going to be 60 next week.
Close.
Oh, Romeo.
No, I'll be 60 in September.
Man, so 60 years old. So when I think about that, I think about just being able to use my instrument it's truly a blessing, but I don't take that for granted.
Mm-mm. Wait a minute. Can I just get you one more time to spell your name out again? Because I love how you went to your super radio voice. You did.
No, it's Aejaye @gmail.com.
Yeah. Let me tell you. Also are better known as by Vesta fans.
I'm Hot Fudge, baby.
Hot Fudge, baby. I'm loving that we're able to do this for BB, man.
Are we still recording? Never mind, I'll be good.
Man, thank you so much, brother. It was wonderful. You have a good one, my man. I appreciate you. We'll keep in touch. And hold on, I just need you to step back and do like this for me one time so we can see that Black Adam. Bam! There it is. Peace out, my brother.
All right, baby. Love you, man.
Love you too, bro.